So the agenda for tonight is we are going to go through this PowerPoint that's a requirement for all Title I schools to do every year. And then after we're finished with that, everybody is welcome to go down to the multipurpose room. We have dinner being served by our culinary students. They actually made dinner and are serving it tonight. So we're very excited and proud of them for doing that for us tonight. We were gonna have dinner outside, but we decided that it would just be easier for you to pick up a plate and then go back to your child's classroom and eat there. So that's the plan for this evening. Okay, we're going to start. I want to thank you all for coming and signing on for tonight. We're going to go through this as quickly and painlessly as we can. So again, this is put together by the school district for us to present, and then there are some slides that we add in our own connections information. So go ahead, Jay, to the next one. So as you can see, there's something called the Every Student Succeeds Act, and that's a federal law that requires Title I schools to hold this meeting and explain and discuss what Title I is, what kinds of programs are available through Title I, your rights, and other kinds of requirements that we have as a school. So we encourage you to ask questions. You can just pop in, raise your hand on the screen, and we will answer your questions, or you can wait till the end and ask them as well. Go ahead. Okay. So we had a lot of questions from some of our new parents as to what is Title I. So we're going to start with that. And what Title I is a federal program for select schools. And the purpose of the program is to provide funds to schools that qualify under this act to help the students meet their educational goals. It also provides money to be used for staff development, professional development, and to support school and family partnerships. So that's what Title I is. And how do you become a Title I school is the next slide. So what happens is that when you fill out your registration forms, you're entered into the school district's student information system. And what happens at that point is, excuse me, sorry about that. What happens at that point is that some students are directly certified into the free and reduced lunch program. And by direct certification, that means any family that receives food stamps, any family that is on Medicaid are directly certified into the free and reduced lunch program. All other families, when you fill out those forms, there's it's changed since COVID. There's some kind of formula that they use that decides whether or not you qualify for free and reduced lunch. So once those numbers are all in there and the students are all in there for connections, they look to see if a school, any elementary, middle, or a combination school like we are, because we're pre-K through grade 8, has to have 70% of our students qualifying for free and reduced lunch to become a Title I school. If you're a high school, you have to have 67% of your students qualifying for free or reduced lunch to qualify for Title I. So that's how it works. So when Aura bugs you to fill out the free and reduced lunch form, you can go online on the district and fill that form out. It helps us in terms of not only the funds that we get from Title I, but also when we're grant writing for to different foundations. saying that we're a Title I school. Many grants and foundations have that as a requirement for funding, is that they will only provide funding to schools that are Title I schools. So it is very important that we stay on top of that. Right now, we're headed into our first count for that. The end of next week is the end of that. So if you haven't done that or you need more information, just give Aura a call or text Aura and she'll tell you more about that. So these are, and we're going to go over this a little bit more at the end when we talk about our budget, but as a charter school, and everybody on this call should be just charter school, which is our pre-K through grade 8 programs, are funded. Our charter schools are funded by the students. So each student has funding attached to it. That funding comes from the state and then it goes to the district. They take a percentage for their administrative fees and then they pass those funds to us. And like I said, we'll talk about that more when we talk about our budget, because it really makes a difference in terms of seeing what the district actually gives us for funding and what that covers compared to what we actually provide at Connections. So Title I funds are over and above that. So there is, we get our regular funding and then Title I, like I said, is based on our free and reduced lunch percentage, and we get a certain amount of money for that. Large elementary schools get hundreds of thousands of dollars. We get about almost $28,000 for Title I for the total year. So we'll show you that. We'll show you that in a little bit. So what happens is every year toward the end of the year, we go into, we have meetings, PTO meetings, staff meetings, and we talk about what are our needs as a school in terms of what we might want to use those funds for. And decisions are made from that input into what we're going to use that funding for. So so basically that's how that goes. So the rights for parents and families to be informed and involved. When you're deemed a Title I school, like we said in the beginning, you have to have an annual meeting. You have to, at the end of the year, come up with committees, anybody that's interested in putting in their input. You have rights as parents to ask about your child's teacher's credentials, any kind of information, obviously, about your child. All those are your rights as a parent. Part of the school-wide plan is a parent and family engagement plan, and that's where we look at different things that's going to encourage us to work together. And that being said, that is our goal. It is so important, and I can't stress this enough, is that you are part of this team, and we feel strongly that we can't do what we need to do with your child and as a school without your input and your participation. So we do really value your input. We want you to attend if you can in person. I know we've gotten so used to these kind of meetings online, but I think, coming in person, meeting your child's teachers, your child's therapists, coming to parent conferences, coming to these kinds of meetings or PTO meetings, all brings you closer as a school community. You can share information, not share information, but really, focus on what you want from us in terms of your child's education. So again, that's probably the most important thing that we want to stress in this meeting, is that we really feel that this is a team effort and we can't do it without you. So with that being said, part of, again, Title I is coming up with a school parent compact. You all have gotten copies of that right at the beginning of the year. That just kind of outlines, what we say we're going to do as a school, what we say we're going to do as teachers, what we say I'm going to do as a principal, and what the students are going to do as students here. So anyway, so that's the school plan, and the right to know notifications you've already gotten. We just talked about that. That's what your rights are as a parent. And then they also have surveys throughout the year that they send out. That's just how everybody benefits, and we just talked about that. So everybody benefits from that, from the funding. The students benefit, the teachers benefit, and you as families benefit. Okay, so like I said, the school-wide plan starts with a needs assessment. You identify activities that are going to support those needs. You develop a family engagement plan, and then there's some narrative components for different sections in terms of migrant education and homelessness and what you're going to do when you transition from pre-K to kindergarten. All those kinds of different components are also in it. That summary is on our website. We're not going to go over it tonight. It's numerous pages. So you can click on the link or just go on our website, go into About, scroll down to Title I, and then you'll find the summary of the school-wide plan in that. Okay. So what we decide, well, let me go over, Jason, can you let me share the screen, my screen?
You're good.
Okay, so this is the actual budget for Title I. Can you guys see it? Yes? Okay. So as you can see, we get $26,777 that can go toward basically educational support. So what we decided, and this is what we've decided for the last few years, is that we split those monies up between part of the salary of one of our paraprofessionals and then after school tutoring. So you'll see that this year we have $10,037 going toward after school tutoring, which will be starting the week of the 13th. You should be getting information via email and your backpacks about signing up for that if you're interested. And then $16,740 goes towards part of a salary for one of our paraprofessionals, highly qualified paraprofessionals, to do support in the classroom. There's also a little bit of money that goes toward non-salary budget items, some supplies, and you can see when you look at that, $1,221.75 goes toward binders, some cardstock, markers, folders, those kinds of things. And then another $508.75 goes towards the books that we give out during our literacy night in February, goes towards some paper for parent communication and Post-it notes. So that's our whopping budget. Stop sharing. Okay. Back to you. Okay. So we don't use any of our funds for parent trainings and staff development, but we are required to provide that as part of, again, a part of our Title I school. So we've already had our first staff and parent training, which was talking to you about Class Dojo to increase communication. Please, if you haven't signed up, sign up with under your classroom. It's a great way for the teachers to share information, share pictures. It's private between, within the classroom, and then we can send out, text through that school-wide. So it is a real important tool for us to use for communicating with you. And the teachers' training was also in setting that up and getting involved in that. And these are all just ways, again, that kind of points to the fact that when parents and families are involved in schools, the kids do better. Attendance is better. They have better social skills. All those things go hand in hand with parent involvement. So again, we've sent home all the summaries of the parent family involvement plan. So we're not going to go into specifics with that tonight. But we did put these in. So this is the mission for the parent and family engagement plan. Again, it's to bring us all together as a team and recognize your importance in the role of your child's education and keeping you informed and making sure that we provide a safe and engaging learning environment for your children. And again, how we do that is by training teachers, by having trainings for you, parent conferences, IEP meetings, all those kinds of things goes into having great parent and family engagement. So like I said, we've done training 1 already. Training 2 will be this month. We have our behavior analysts doing a training on challenging behaviors at home. So that's always a popular training. We've done that in the past. We will get you the date for that. Probably will go out this week. I think it's the 18th, but I'm not positive.
I think it's the 17th, Debbie.
The 17th, okay.
Yes.
Thank you. And the third training will be in February, and that's our literacy night. So that goes along with our book fair that we have. And that's a fun night that we have with our parents. We usually have dinner that night too. So that'll be in February. Okay, so we talked about the parent and school compact. The next slide is actually our parent school compact. And you can squeeze your eyes and read that. You've all gotten a copy of it. But like I said, it just goes to what our goals are academically, and then, what we as the team members are committing to do. And again, some of these are for typical elementary schools, but, even our students have an obligation to commit to doing things and coming to school and being ready to learn. So that's all under their students as a student. Okay. So we talked about this just a little bit earlier. So you have the right to ask about your teacher's qualifications and anybody providing instruction to your children. What you would need to do if you're interested in that is just give Beth, who is our Title I contact, a call and just ask your questions and she'll answer them for you. This, like I said, is our funding period for the beginning of the year. This is where we count how many students we have and determines the funding for the rest of the year until February. And so all the students we have in the system are put in, and then funding is determined for them. So with that also comes looking at teachers and whether or not they are highly qualified and have all the certifications and things that they need. So you are informed if your child's student is out of field. We do have some out of field teachers only because they made a ruling maybe about 5 or 6 years ago that all teachers that teach students with autism, 100% of the students in the classroom have to have the ASD eligibility, that they also have to be endorsed, have an autism endorsement. And that endorsement is 5 master level college courses that they have to have. Interesting enough, last year they did away with that endorsement, but they haven't done away with it in our district as to making teachers highly qualified or out of field or not. So, so you will get informed for some of your teachers that they do not have that endorsement, but they can't even get it at this point. So typical state stuff. You also get at the end of the year any kind of testing results that your child has. Some students here are on take the FIA and some take the FSA. So you all get results of that testing as well. Okay, so the migrant education program is part of the district, excuse me, and it assists all migrant students in meeting academic standards and achieving graduation from high school. Really does not apply to any of the students that we have here at this point. We can go to the next one. If you do want any information about the migrant education program, there is a person at the district that's in charge of that you can contact. And then the second program is any students that are experiencing homelessness. And homelessness does not mean living in your car. Homelessness is a lot of different things. It could be that you're living with a relative, or you're living in a shelter, or or something like that. So if that's the case for any of our parents that we don't know about, please let us know, because there are programs available through the district. We've contacted them for some of our families. It's again, it's a little bit of a bureaucracy, and honestly, we haven't had a lot of success getting help through this. But I just was at a meeting a couple weeks ago, and it seems that things have changed a little bit, because one of the things I know that a lot of you struggle with is transportation. And there is, in the past, they were told that charter schools aren't available to that service, but I was told at my meeting, when I asked specifically, that charter schools were now available to have this, to have aid in transportation. So that means that if you are having to move in with a relative or something like that, you want to continue to come to Connections, then the district is supposed to be providing transportation to Connections for you. So haven't tried it yet, so we'll see if that works for anybody, but it does provide that. It also provides some school supplies, things like that, and connections to food. But you also know that we do have our food bank and our weekend backpack program here for anybody and everybody, so that is available. Okay, so that's the presentation. Anybody have any questions? Staff can ask them too.
You want to do the budget?
Sure. Okay, so we wanted just to, and I know we've talked about this at the first couple PTO meetings that we had, but we wanted you to really take a look at, and we can definitely send this home to you all as well. Just why we do what we do here, why we are, always having fundraisers and doing different things, writing grants and all those things, because as you can see, the state money that we get is for both programs, that's charter and upstairs high school and cap, is $4,111,926. Okay. The expenses, however, are $7,264,151. So you can see that we spend more than we get in terms of that guarantee funding. Jay?
Huh? I wouldn't recommend it as a business model.
No, terrible business model. But, I mean, you can just see where those expenses go. Most of it goes towards salaries. And then, we obviously have rent to pay, and, all our programs, our health and wellness program is partly funded by grants, and, or mostly funded by grants, and all the transportation services that we do use, that's traveling to the pool, that's going to the Kravis Center, that's going shopping, all those things, that's paying for, two bus drivers and our transportation and safety manager, all those kinds of things go into that. Those are not monies given to us by the state. So we raise monies because we think those programs are important. And so again, any kind of community-based activity that we do, those things are not funded by state monies. And all those come from either gifts that we get or foundations and grants and all the different little things that we do throughout the year. So so anyway, you can see there's a $3.1 million difference. That's a lot of money. And that's, you know, why we're writing grants and doing those things, but that's also why we ask for your help as well. And we aren't asking for monies, but we are asking for volunteer hours and help any way that you can. So there is a Google form that's going to go out tomorrow that just lists some things that makes everybody think about, you know, we all sit back and we kind of think that, oh, there's really nothing that I can do. I don't have any connections. I don't know anybody with money. And you just don't know what you might have. And so the Google form is just to make you kind of think. We've had a parent that did some work for a family at one of the local developments that has a foundation. She talked to the person that she worked for. That person talked to another person about connections, and we got a $10,000 grant to do our after-school group program out of that. That's just a conversation that she had with somebody that she worked for and did, cooked meals for. She was a chef, and that came about. So you just don't know, the people that you might touch just through a conversation and how that might make a difference. So anyway, so that's that. Participating in anything that you can. We had a lot of parents come out and participate in our fire truck pull. And, we were able to raise over $30,000 in, one morning with that. And, so there's like I said, all different ways that people can help to contribute. Anybody have any questions about it? No. But if you do come out to the event, you're going to see lots of staff who don't really have to be there, but do, again, because they're committed and they know the value of the programs that we do and the value, that those programs have for your children. So they come out, and, on their free time and help in all those events as well. So again, it's a great way to meet your child's teachers in a different field, not in the classroom, but a more fun, more relaxed atmosphere as well. Jay, you have anything you want to say?
No, it's really also, so that everybody has a vested interest. Deborah has really built the school around a family-centered model, and we try to provide the programs that um, are recommended by staff, by you guys. So as we move forward, we get into more adult program, possibly residential. These are the things that are being brought to us by families, but we make less. So that deficit will just keep increasing in order to keep funding these programs that families need. It really has to be a collaborative effort.
Okay. Thanks for listening. I have just a couple more things and then we'll break for dinner. There is, I know some of you have been calling already, but we got information about a transportation stipend that is available to any student that goes to a public school, grades K through 8. So I'm sorry, our pre-K students aren't available for this money, but it's $750 that you would get to help with transportation costs to transport your student to a non-assigned public school, which is Connections. So if your child goes to Connections or you have any other children that are going to another school that is not your home school, you are eligible for that. You have to go online, sign up to open up an account, and then you will be eligible for $750. It is first come, first serve. So I suggest that if you're interested in that, then you get the information and sign up as soon as possible. There's also another scholarship program involved in that. I'm not sure if you will qualify that with your students, but it's a $1,200 supplement if your child is functioning below grade level, and it provides $1,250, I think, for you to spend on any kind of like tutoring or any kind of academic programs and materials for academic needs, reading and math. So it's the same system as through Step Up for Students. It's not what the high school students use for their tuition. It's just something separate that has just come down the pike. So I encourage you. $750 is $750. So I encourage you to apply as soon as you can. Any help you need, you're going to need a letter from us. So just let us know if you're applying, and we'll get you that letter that you can include with your application. And that's it. So thank you guys all for coming. I don't know if there's anybody else that has anything to say before we sign off, and you can head down to the multipurpose room for some yummy dinner.
Thank you.